This is quite literally the biggest zombie game of all time, and the update for this is absolutely gargantuan. I cannot stress how big the update for this game is. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to our first look at the biggest update for Infection-Free Zone ever. They have added so much stuff to this, it's insane. Stuff that they had planned on their roadmap, and a ton of stuff that players wanted, giving a lot of feedback and trying to prioritize what everyone thought would be more important first to make this a much more enjoyable game. Well, welcome back and good to see you all here. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell and hit that like button for more zombie games here on the channel, because this is quite literally one of the biggest ones, as you can build a city essentially in any city on Earth, an infection-free zone, if you will. Capture, a city block and then neighborhoods and then an entire district and try to free it of, infected, and also provide good and services to your people in a way where it goes from like a small base builder to absolutely a city management game in a way. Check this out. The roadmap for this game is getting bigger. Everything in green here they've added, and some of them they've added recently. We now have more types of the infected, so we have like infected cattle and moose, and now bear that can attack us. Yes, but we can also go hunting too for deer and boar and other things like that. We can also customize and build our own vehicles, and now finally there's elevation in this game. So for those of you who've ever wanted to wonder, well, what would it be like to fortify Edinburgh Castle, which is kind of already a fortified structure, but what would it be like to, take over a medieval castle or some sort of Civil War fort or, something like that and fortify it against the infected if it's in an elevated position? Well, now we can do that. The developers have added 2 new handmade maps of Edinburgh and also San Francisco, and they have massive amounts of elevation and perfection to it. Like, they've really made it look really, really good. Now, again, this game is probably the biggest game ever because literally, and I've told you this before in many other videos, you can click anywhere in the world and start building an infected-free zone there. Anywhere in Cuba, if you want to go up to the North or South Pole, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can build anywhere on Earth. All these dots here are where they kind of recommend you to build, but the game has gotten more detailed, and there's more ways now, more algorithms to make the buildings look more realistic too. They're not just flat and square buildings. They've reworked how squads work, and they've reworked how supplies work. Apparently now we get much more wood. There's forestry buildings and ways for workers now to automatically plant trees and cut them, and we get more wood per cut tree, so there's easier ways to build. That was a big complaint from players, is that they wanted to, of course, scale up, and at a certain point you need to build a bigger base so you can build more farms to feed more people, and that was difficult to do. So apparently those have all been addressed in one of the biggest updates now for Infection-Free Zone. The 4th update for this game, as they call it, the terrain elevation, merchant, oh yeah, there's trading now too, car workshop, and animals, but there's so much more here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start ourselves a new game. These 2 locations, as I mentioned, San Francisco, USA, and Edinburgh, Scotland, are what they recommend and are handcrafted for the terrain elevation update, but I would imagine anywhere that you would like to build, perhaps in Stockholm or Gothenburg, or maybe if you wanted to build in the Netherlands, perhaps there is some sort of elevation there, but of course it's probably going to be more prominent in areas that have a castle, maybe like, for example, the Czech Republic or Slovakia or Poland or something like that would also be interesting, or anywhere around the Alps would be really cool too. So let's go ahead and jump into Edinburgh, and we'll go ahead and start our infected-free zone. Now, this is a great thing that they do in this game, too, and I think this is getting better as well. It shows us on the right side all the buildings within this square. So this essentially will be everywhere that we can play here within this dotted line, and eventually we can send out expeditions beyond this. So we can go, north, south, east, and west to even further go out for supplies, but we'll need to, send a vehicle in a specific squad because that's far, far away. So, yeah, there's 579 buildings on the center tile just alone. So this is kind of where we'll first start, and we'll be building at the castle here, and that'll be really, really cool. So there's our information on forests and water, points of interest. These are buildings I think that we can actually search, and if you hover over that, it tells you exactly what's here. So 55 medical facilities, 107 education. So it tells you the likelihood of what you'll more than likely find in these buildings. So probably not a lot of fuel, probably not a lot of building materials, but certainly a lot of trees and things we can cut down. They've also apparently made some changes to the roads, so they're more 3D, and I'm not exactly sure what that means. I've looked at it, and the roads look better, but I don't know what they mean by 3D, so I guess we'll see. Maybe there's a little bit of, I guess, more 3D damage to them if roads are in bad shape, there'll be chunks and potholes, that kind of thing. And then there's also a chance to find 8 to 10 vehicles here, so that's good. All right, so we could rename our zone name. Infection-free zone of Edinburgh, I guess, is fine. Wait, is there? Oh no! Don't tell me that there's a character limit to this. No, the developer. Oh, okay, yeah, that's why it's not spelled right. So yeah, there's a character limit to it. They've also switched around how story events work in this game too. There's been a big rework to the order in which story events will come. It used to be kind of the same all the time, but now both good and bad story events can happen at the same time. So like a giant horde coming towards the base, or maybe perhaps a group of survivors coming in, which has also been changed too. Another good thing to note is that more survivors now have their own characteristics, so some of them may come in who are like very skilled, I don't know, maybe somebody former police or military, and a big group will come in, and as you build a new squad, you'll find out that, oh wait, somebody's a former cop or something like that, so they actually are better with the gun or maybe melee for some reason, like, I don't know, maybe they were a jouster at a medieval festival, who knows. Anyway, we're going to turn up the hordes, we're going to turn up the resources and the people to make it a little more interesting, and we're going to name our zone of Raptoria. Glory to Raptoria down below in this comment section, and let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and make our logo here real quick. That kind of looks cool. We're at the castle, so the sword kind of seems to make sense. Actually, let's go with this. Yeah, we're at Edinburgh Castle, so let's go with that, and we'll go with the... we'll go with Scotland a little bit there, I guess. Try to, you know, do that. Okay, that should be it then. Let's go ahead and start our infection-free zone. Well, welcome to the front line, boys. All right, so this is really astonishing. Every time I see this game, it blows my mind at how well they've done the maps here. Obviously, this is a rail line here. We see all the major roads and thoroughfares through, and we also see large areas of green, which indicate like a park or some sort of a forested area. And it's an incredible recreation and a kind of an AI generation of maps that actually exist. I'm not sure where they're getting their map data, but you know, if there's a hospital somewhere in real life, then there's going to be a hospital in the game. If there's a bridge, then there's going to be a bridge. If there's a train station, then there's going to be a train station. And as we zoom in on it, you can kind of see that the game does a pretty good job of trying to recreate some of this stuff. But also, it's a post-apocalyptic game, so there's tons of like you know, wrecks and like decaying roads and buildings. Like you could tell there's a rail line there, but obviously it's been overgrown by trees and things like that. Welcome to Scotland. It is raining, no surprise there. And wow, what is this building here? Might actually tell us Princess Street, abandoned building, I guess. This looks to be some sort of a landmark, but I think they could do a better job of that. But what is really amazing, though, is that that is probably on that street, and it will tell you, yeah, here's the Royal Scottish Academy. So anybody who's been to or from Edinburgh, you probably don't even need to know what these things are. Like, you already know what it is without even clicking on it. National Museum of Scotland, for example, and yeah, it's a really interesting laid out building. So the game does a really good job of trying to make flat buildings more interesting, putting water towers and like AC units on top of a building. But then also they've done a good job of now trying to make more buildings domed, or also kind of having some sort of a peak to them, and dormers and other things like that that look really good. So they've certainly put a more of an effort into that, so that's good. More buildings that are industrial or like large public spaces probably look square, but still pretty good. Let's take a look at the castle, though. That's why we're all here. Look at the elevation in this game. I didn't want to show it until now, but look at this. Oh, that's amazing. Now, before on this channel, we also went to Quebec and tried to look at the castle there. And the game long ago added these castle walls, and so any area that had a castle would have some sort of a fortification to them. And the thing that the developers have done now, too, is they've added more health to walls. So I'm hoping that these medieval walls here are more fortified than before, but walls that we build, which could be out of wood or brick or metal or whatever, are also supposed to have more health. And I also want to see if we can find a prison to go build at, too. It'd be really cool to be able to go to, you know, some sort of you know, this could look like a prison as well, and it'd be amazing to build there. But we can see all the different buildings here. So the chapel, the Prisoners of War Museum. I mean, they've laid out all this stuff. They put in such a good job of whiskey and finest foods. Oh, I'm on my way there. All right, hold on. But yeah, they've done a great job of that. And look, there's debris there, too, so maybe we can gather stuff from that. And these roads here, looks like they've done something where they seem to give it maybe a number to the elevation, but this looks really realistic, though. I mean, I've played many a city builder, and this looks pretty damn good as to what I would expect from that. It looks like they've kind of made like steps of elevation. But we do have ourselves some cows down here, or sheep or something, or deer. Oh yeah, there they are. Okay, let's get started with the game then. They want us to go down here first and try to find, other survivors and equipment, other things of that nature. And it looks like there's an opening here to the castle, so we'll have to build a wall there. And additionally, we could build walls within the walls too, but setting up, this looks to be a gatehouse here. Setting up a defense here would be great. That'll block most of the enemy's attacks, and then also here too. Looks like there are ways for vehicles to pass under as well. So we should be able to drive a vehicle up here, and drop off our supply. So that's the only problem with this castle, is that if we bring stuff back, it might be difficult for a vehicle to get up here. So it might be good to park nearby or build some base down here. We could also deconstruct buildings, so that's good too. And we can get a lot of materials from those, so metal, brick, wood, etc. So now, to build an additional squad, it takes extra time. So if you're going to do that, you better do it early. So it does take a little bit of time now to make a squad. So when we start, we can't just immediately go out with multiple squads. We're going to go ahead and press V, though, and start seeing what's around us. And before we even leave the castle, it's a good idea to find out what's around us. So there seems to be possibly like a police station or something here, some sort of security, so they could have weapons. We also have medical facility there, and then also food. Now, another thing to note is that this is like also, it seems to be a museum. And medieval equipment has absolutely been added to the game. So if you think of like glaives and spears and swords and even medieval armor can all be used here in combat. So if we happen to go to a museum and find any of that stuff, it totally applies here in this game. Okay, so this is where our HQ is at the moment. And when you start with these new maps, the game will automatically pick a base for you. But if you choose on your own, or if you load Edinburgh on your own, where you select it through search rather than on the list on the left that you saw just earlier, you are able to pick where you start. So if you still want to start at Edinburgh Castle, but you want to start here maybe at the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards Museum, then you can do that. Or maybe a building near the castle and then eventually take the castle, that kind of thing. So you can do all that too. There's the Usher Hall there. All right. Yeah, that looks good that they've actually made like concert halls and opera halls and stuff have domes now too. I don't think I've seen domes before. It's really interesting how ugly cathedrals and churches used to be in this game, and now they've added way more ways for this to be better. Okay, we're going to go ahead and I think queue up orders then. I'm always against this, by the way. You can hold shift and right click to give them multiple orders, but I'm always against this because since the day I've been playing, I've had it happen countless times where my squads will queue up orders and then they'll just walk out in front of a zombie horde because they're just following their orders and aren't reacting to enemies around them. So apparently also some new things have been changed for the infection and for how research works for that. I'm not exactly sure what they've changed in the research trees. There was some changes to them, but there's also a change to how weapons work too. So our squads finally can carry more ammunition. Apparently we can hold up to ammunition cans, I think, hold up to 200 rounds. And I'm not sure if that means that we can bring an ammunition can with us, but I really want this inventory system to be done differently. There's squad resources here in which they find stuff and can bring it back, and then they have their own weapon. You can see here that they are holding 200, so that must be what they mean there, is that that pistol is not only just like equipped with that person, but also they're carrying 200 rounds worth of ammunition. So whatever weapon they've got, they're carrying 200 rounds of ammo. So there's also a difference for I think the shotgun and the sniper rifle. And they've tried to rebalance the sniper rifle to where apparently it fires 2 rounds per shot. I don't know what they were doing with that. I think they should just change the amount of ammo you can carry or something like that. But they're trying to balance the weapons so that way they're powerful, but not too powerful. And you're going to win in numbers, that kind of thing. All right, let's send out another squad. We'll send these guys down here. We'll go outside the castle a little bit, like further down away from the main building. And we'll start to explore all around us. So it's really interesting, like, obviously little beehive in here, like a little restaurant or cafes and stuff. There's going to be food everywhere. Little cafes and McDonald's, people's homes and stuff could be littered with food. And it's really cool how there's logic to this. This is exactly how you play Zomboid, too. You're thinking like, okay, there's a new update for Zomboid. Okay, where's the new police department? All right, let's go see if there's guns there. Oh, there's a big old gun store now. Let's go to this fast food restaurant. All right, I'm going to hide out here. At this abandoned factory because it's a big open space between me and my base, a big parking lot. And a lot of that logic of thinking like, okay, what's a area where I can clear that and also defend that easily are all in play here. We're going to make one more squad here, and now you can see that they have machetes. No matter what, you could always create squads that have at least the basic melee weapon and machetes. You can make endless amounts of squads that way for that. Another thing we could do, too, is, as I mentioned earlier, we can now start gathering wood.
We need a workspace where we can experiment and re-engineer all the pre-pandemic technology.
Yep.
We could store all the books there, too. Let's build a research center and assign the most technical minds there.
You got it.
Okay, let's do this.
So we got to put some of our people to work then. So we're going to start building a bigger base here and converting some of the buildings. Very much before, the devs really didn't want us building new stuff, but people were like, no, that's ridiculous. People want to build tons of stuff. So we're going to indicate all these trees to be cut down, and then we're going to have a forester start planting trees. And it might be a good idea maybe here to like just continuously farm trees. And speaking of farms, this land here would be perfect for us to build a couple of farm fields to start with. But yes, there's also huntable animals, so those deer there, we could build a hunting shack and go find you know, some more food that way. Also, they've tried to make it so that metal is more plentiful too by adding more car wrecks on and around roads, and we can always find tons of metal from street lights and other things that you'd find near the road, like you know, PO boxes and things like that. So, all right, so we're sending out our people. We also need to convert some more buildings to warehouses and things like that, and barracks. This is really good. These are nice medium-sized buildings that shouldn't take too long, but will be quite useful to our cause. So right now we can see that we... oh yeah, here's our problems. No shelters and a little bit of a food shortage. We're bringing back food. Our people are doing a good job of going to find that. So let's adapt the building directly next to us to a shelter, and we can see what the cost of that will be. So 76 people will be able to live there. That's awesome. That's a huge project, but will likely take care of any more you know, people that we have. And we, you know, have a little bit of a housing problem right now. So we have housing for, I wonder how many homeless we actually have. Oh, okay. So we have housing for 27 out of, this says 56, but up here it said we have 50 people. Yeah, down here 50. That must be, oh, 6 children. Maybe it's not counting that. So we have 50 workers, and 6 of them happen to be children. Okay, so that's what it is. We also have illness to worry about now, too. You can see number of squads and farming. So, by the way, this video here is not necessarily going to be a, here's the correct way to play, or here's what you should do or whatnot. But here's just basically what I do, and I don't, you know, it's different every single time that you play, because the roadmap changes and you're in different locations, and there's, you know, many different things that you could do in this game in order to play. So always just remember that, you know, whatever, it's just experimental. Like, go and do different things and have a good time. And yeah, why not have some fun? As you can see, our people have to walk a long way to go and get down to those trees and stuff. So now we're entering nighttime, and our people will work during the day. The seasonal shift also matters in this game too. We will have to prepare for winter. So it's a little bit of like Frostpunk there, where you're constantly preparing for winter in a way. Like you're trying to gather enough food and stuff for that. But, alright, there's some infected down there. A little horde is stuck down by the bottom of the castle. But we'll be alright. Let's have our people keep going out and gathering food and stuff. And we'll see if we can go find some weapons over there too. So there may be a building outside the castle there? Music's really great in this game too.
There's nothing left. Building clear.
Oh, this is interesting. Have we had 2 squads?
Receiving.
I want to be able to click a drag. I think we've assigned both these squads to the same task. I'm going to go ahead and change that up.
Reporting. Let's do it.
Actually, let's get to the police department thing first and see if we can find more weapons. We're also finding possible oil there too. And we can find vehicles out in the game. There are military vehicles. I can remember, I believe previously in older builds we found like a APC or something like that. I can't quite remember what kind of an APC it was, but I mean, even like an M113, you know, that old square-bodied, like Vietnam era, 50 or 30 cal mounted up on the top would be an absolute godsend. You can also find fuel trucks, military trucks. I believe the developers eventually plan to have electricity in here, where you'll be able to build solar panels and batteries, and also like worry about bringing back fuel and trying to like store things on the base, and then eventually having like floodlights all around your base. And it seems like it's going to be starting to go a little bit more towards when the military had their little base in 28 Days Later, and Yeah, that was really cool. All right, so we've got all 3 squads looking for stuff. Hopefully we find some weapons here. Look at that. We actually did find a medieval weapon there. So they're bringing back some medieval weaponry, or they can. We also got some books here to bring back, and as that lady said, we should build a scientific department so we can do that too. First and foremost, we're cutting down and making, you know, like material storage, but we do need to make another warehouse, and we will do our little science thing. I think maybe we'll make that our warehouse. These are big projects, so I'm going to try to find the smallest building I can for our research center. Oh, there we go. 7 scientists can work there. That's pretty good. And then we want to make another warehouse because clearly we're going to get a ton of stuff. We'll probably make that our warehouse there. And look at that, 1,000 capacity. Perfect. These are going to take a long time to build, but these are good long-time goals. So that's nice. Oh, also we can make safe houses now a little bit more predominantly. This is, I think, an older update, but now you can build what we used to do in previous builds is we would have our people go far out away from the base, and nighttime would come, and rather than driving all the way back to the base, sometimes it was just nicer to make like a dump area, right? So let's just pretend that this area here is really far away from our base, like here. Let's say we had our squad, operating in this area, and they have a ton of materials. Well, one thing you could do is have your people just dump a bunch of stuff at a building, or have a lot of vehicles, like have an outpost, or a forward operating base. And then you could have your squads return to this building at night to fight off all the infected. They would be able to fight shoulder to shoulder. You'd have like 12 people or something like that here. The infected would try to attack, you'd fight them off, and then the next day would begin. And that way you didn't have to do the whole commute to and from the base, which would take most of the day. So it's a lot easier now to build a fortified squad quarters that way, which is really nice. We're going to go ahead and change some of the people now assigned to doing different things. We're going to go scavenging down to maybe 15 and put everybody else on building. There we go.
We are out of resources.
Yeah, she's saying we're out of resources here. What do we got? Well, that's under materials. That shows, I believe that's fertilizer or seed. We've got medical, other things for like even medieval equipment there at the bottom. Awesome. And also riot gear too. All right, we have 55 wood, 12 metal, no brick, and 6 tools. So we can also order for the deconstruction of certain buildings, and that'll be beneficial. And I think it might be a wise idea to deconstruct some of the larger buildings here, as there's no way we could probably fortify that and use it effectively. And look at all the materials we would get from that. Boom, right there. That one building alone. What is that thing? Not even sure. But we'll have some people work on that. And I think that might be part of the scavenging team to do that. But regardless, it's way easier to deconstruct a building than it is to cut down all those trees and stuff. But everything takes time in this game, so you're always going to constantly be on the move. Let's go ahead and have this one squad go down to the objective. Our current objective is to go down somewhere. Should be rather nearby. Actually, let me see if it'll indicate that for us. Or I can try to find it this way.
Let's do it.
I don't see the objective anymore. Interesting. Oh, we have our compass as well. Oh, expedition view, right. And also view layers. Okay. Actually, they may have removed that objective because we have the scientific materials that we needed now to build and research. So maybe that disappeared because we did find some books at the, at the museum. Surprise, surprise, right? All right, let's continue to go down and get food. Now, food is a very important thing at the beginning. You find a lot of canned goods, but then you need to start finding, like farming supplies. So I think tools and seeds are needed for that. And then you can start farming out in the fields. But then you'll need to stack up for the winter. But we can now have, as of a previous update a long time ago, we can also house animals, too, in the barns.
Chief, we've just found a shitload of supplies.
Well, never mind.
Some prepper must have lived here.
Wow.
They survived the apocalypse. God bless these preppers.
We got lucky. Look at that. We've got like an assault rifle, 2 handguns, some ammo, oil, and tons of food. Wow. Well, lucky us.
That's great news. Take it all.
Oh, we found a vehicle too? Oh, we found a car. And possibly a hostile group of enemies. We'll see. Hold on. Let's go for that vehicle. Oh, happy day. We'll see if these guys are hostile or not. Probably not, but we'll go say hi and invite them to our settlement. Now, another thing to note is that the prepper thing that we just found in the car, I'm not sure if that's RNG or if that's scripted for this save. I'm not sure if the developers have the ability to actually kind of script that from it to happen or not. Let's go to the car, though, catch up with these guys. Oh, a few people around. Let's go say hi.
They seem weird and aggressive, though.
Oh, they seem weird and aggressive.
What do you think?
That's new.
Should we accept them?
These people might be an asset, but it'll come with a price. As much as our zone will benefit from them, we can surely expect some issues if they join us.
Well, let's go ahead and let them in and see what happens from that.
Ask them to join us.
On my way.
So that's interesting. So survivors aren't always just willing to work for free. Sometimes they're just going to be a problem, too.
But the problem is they're ill. With signs of the infection.
Ah. So these people have technical and scientific knowledge, but they are ill with signs of the infection. Uh-oh.
We need your response.
Ask them to join us.
Well, let's see what happens. So some of them may turn into the infected. We'll see how that ends up. Oh, there's another car here, too. Look at that. Wow, awesome. Let's keep getting more survivors, though. That's going to be the only way to truly build up the base quickly. And let's have our people continue to bring stuff back and forth. We might want to... Actually, let's have that group go get a small car. It'll be easier to do that.
On top of that, some have skills that could come in handy.
Okay.
Ask them to join us.
So probably not wise to constantly and blindly accept people into the base. So we're going to do it. Although I don't know why the car is ramming into the back of those people. There we go.
We've spotted some people.
Ooh. They're fighting a horde in there. Hold on.
Going there. But the thing is, they're wounded and need medical assistance.
Okay, we do have medical supplies.
Ask them to join us.
Oh, these guys have guns.
We're on the move.
Will they be hostiles?
Somebody's coming. A group of people is going there. What's bad, though, is that they're wounded. Probably by the infected.
Ooh. Yeah, true. We just literally saw them fighting them. Wow, there's so many survivors here. Okay.
Should we accept them?
These people might be an asset, and it'll come with a price.
Okay.
Ask them to join us.
Let's accept those guys because they have guns, and then we're going to close the doors for now because we don't have enough shelter or food for everybody at the moment. So we're going to start focusing on food, though. We're going to have this car go out and start getting some food. We're going to have this group go and get that other car. That'll be an asset to us, a big one. And then we'll just have this squad continuously bring stuff back and forth.
Let's do it.
They should automatically be doing that. Let's make another squad. We really need one. We're going to make one more squad there. And yeah, cool. Wow, we got a shotgun and 3 handguns for the next squad as well. Another important thing about squads, too, is that they're really, even more than building towers and walls, I feel like squads, if put in the right place, are infinitely more powerful than walls and guard towers. Buildings are already going to be on street corners and things like that, and they're also going to have a lot of health. In fact, oftentimes buildings have more health than, like, defenses. So even now, after this update, it's still a wise idea to be able to put them into a strategic position and use them almost as like a watchtower. And, you know, the infected have to climb into a building and they can fight it out as where a tower just needs to be destroyed and then it's pretty much over. Did these guys get out of that car? Oh, they did, yeah. They're linked, okay. Alright, I need to be able to set up a back and forth for this squad. There should be a way for them to auto-return. I thought there was a way to do that. Exchange. Go to HQ. I thought there was a way to tell a squad that when they were full, just to continue to ferry things back and forth, but we'll see.
There are some people here.
Alright, food is still going to be a problem at the base, although we have 41 food. I also did notice that we can now make a vast field, which is great. So we can make a huge farm field, which is awesome. And I think we're going to put that down here. And see if we can start farming ASAP. We'll get rid of a tree, that's okay.
Somebody's coming.
So we do want massive farm fields to be able to feed our people, but also, as I'd mentioned too, animal husbandry. So, you know, we can get things like chickens and pigs, and maybe even now that there's infected cattle, maybe there's non-infected cattle. And 2 big farm fields there should be a great start. And I believe maybe we can also make medication from that too, from farming. I don't think we actually pick a crop in this game. I think we just grow food.
There are some people here. On my way.
And that's that. All right, let's check that
Let's do it.
police station there. These guys are still gathering food. They're also putting it in the car. So cars benefit that way too. So clearly a hatchback little car like that's not going to be as beneficial as like a big truck. And that's the benefit of like getting the big military vehicles because they can carry a lot of stuff. Oh good, another squad's ready. Excellent. I'll just have these 2 squads. We'll do it manually, go back and forth, gathering stuff. And it doesn't look like they've started to deconstruct that building at all.
The door won't hold much longer.
Oh, we're under attack somewhere. Is it because we're under attack from people who just turned in our base? Or are we under attack?
Another one incoming.
We're okay for now. We'll have to watch the squads here.
Fort, spotted.
I'll have to play this again too to see if that actual prepper base spawns every time within the castle. That's certainly a nice little treat. We gotta get the hell out of here. There's 4 massive hordes coming towards us. And these guys don't really have any guns. We're going to go ahead and meet up with this group here. We're going to hold in this building.
We're on the move.
And the infected still very smart. They can almost judge your numbers sometimes, and if they know that you outnumber them, they're not going to attack. But there are ways to lure them over, although there's not really a reason to fight the infected. They oftentimes don't drop anything useful. But sometimes you need to clear them out before they occupy a nearby building. Oh, there's some ammo and stuff there. Let's go ahead and see if we can keep lure them over. Another great thing, too, is that inside the buildings, you can have the squads move to a particular corner of a building. And as you saw there, we were like inside that building there, or just on the corner, defending it. So you can actually enter a building now from multiple locations. And some of these things are like older updates, but it all is flowing together very well. And I can't wait to see what we got for the vehicle bay, too. Let's see what that might look like, or what that may be to build. So what do we have here? Other... it's probably something we also have to research too. So, yeah, here we go. We've got our arms factory, protective gear. All those are there. The tool factory too. And then under... got a mast and antenna. Oh, there it is. Scroll down. We have our vehicle workshop right there. Okay, that's exactly where I was expecting to find that.
We need backup.
Alright, so this group is a little exposed there, so we're going to get them inside the building. Actually, let's go ahead and just fight them right there. And again, our squads could be wounded, and that's why we have all that medical supply, so we're good. There they go. Oh no, that's annoying. Are the infected just attacking the castle walls? Oh, that's dumb. We should be able to repair those, though. Yeah. So in my opinion, they shouldn't be able to do this, right? They shouldn't be able to scale a cliff and then, you know, without proper equipment or something, you need a ladder or something to both get up the cliff and then also up the wall. And a bunch of zombies punching a castle wall. I mean, that's why bombards and trebuchets and catapults were invented, not just to punch a wall like that. But they did give the walls more health, and apparently we can repair those. It'll just cost some bricks. And they'll stop by daytime. But, as you know, the infected will just continue to attack every night until there's gaps in the wall like that. Then we'll have to fill those gaps in with our own brick walls or something. That's why demolishing that building is going to be really important.
Reporting.
Oh, we got more assault rifles, though. Good. You know, another thing we should be able to do, too, is actually be able to get on those walls, like battlements. Like,
There's nothing left.
walk up onto the wall and walk around the walls too. The game might be a little far away from that. It might take more hand crafting to get that, but still pretty cool. Oh, wow, look at all the supplies we have. We are likely going to not have enough room for all this stuff. We may want to, like, hold off on gathering supplies for a little while just because we have so much of it. Also, let's do a little drive-by here. These guys, I don't want these guys attacking the wall like this. Now we can do drive-bys in vehicles. This is great. We can pull up and just start shooting. And actually, let's go ahead and give these guys a... I think we should give our squads the actual weapons. And we can run over enemies too with our vehicles. And that used to be a bad thing. Like, you don't want to run over the hordes with a car because it'll damage the car. And cars are, like, rare. But now we can repair our vehicles at the shop, so that's good. Does everyone here have a gun? Okay. So that's the other thing we got to do too, is get all of our squads back to base. So at this point, now that we found so much guns and ammo, especially over here, we're going to want to give everybody a gun, especially if they're in the squad. So let's make sure we can give decent weapons to everyone. And what do we have here at the base? Handguns will be good for the towers. What do we have for people? 68 people now in the camp. 3 of them are ill. We have a few more children now. And still a problem with homeless, but we are building... This building here is still constructing additional shelters, so good for everybody with that. Alright, you guys go ahead and... Actually, we can click this button here too. A hotkey of K, go to HQ, and that should tell them to drop everything off from the vehicle, I believe. Let's get our vehicles loaded up here. And look at that, people going right back out to work. The serfs.
Ready for action.
So now we need to adapt a building into a research center. That's what we're doing here. They also want us to research the basic antenna technology. What that allows us to do is to send out a broadcast on like local radio frequencies to everyone saying, hey, here's where we are. We are fortifying Edinburgh Castle. You're safe here. You know, we're taking care of the wounded. If you work, there's a place for you to stay here. You know, we welcome everybody who's willing to work with us, that kind of thing. Great, there's seeds in there too. That's going to be perfect for our farm. Now, another thing too is that these squads can also get experience the longer that they're out in the field. I believe they'll become faster at scavenging, so finding out what's inside of a building. Sometimes you got to take multiple trips. That just it is what it is. But
We've spotted some people.
oh, we're always going to spot some people, aren't we?
Sir, we've spotted some people. They're probably armed.
Uh-oh.
They could have seen us too, but I can't tell if they're friendly. What should we do?
Well, let's approach as friendly first.
Approach them
Enemy group
friendly.
approaching.
We've encountered armed people before.
On my way, operator. Let's do it.
Alright, we need to have a heavily armed squad.
Waiting orders. Let's do it. Reporting.
For these situations. This squad here.
Going there.
Alright, let's go ahead and make some changes here. I want to exchange with the base. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the assault rifle for now and give all these guys handguns. I want to make an elite strike team. Okay, these guys should get guns shortly. Or ammo for them.
Going there. On my way. We're ready for action.
Alright, this team here has all this armor and stuff, so let's go ahead and get them some better equipment. Oh, that group is hostile. Alright. We're gonna have to deal with them. We can shoot at them from the castle itself. Now let's exchange with this building.
Our workers might die.
Oh, are they attacking our people out in the streets? Oh, that's not gonna happen. Let's see if we can shoot at them from here and send that other team down to
Let's do it.
attack
Do
them.
it.
That's cool. So if we occupy this building, you can see that we can also occupy, or rather have a line of sight over the road. That's cool.
Ready for action.
Okay, let's get everybody back to base. We want to make sure
Roger.
Protect the unarmed.
or these squads that they are able to, yeah, I don't want them to attack the workers. I want to make sure we give our people better weapons. Boom, so we just plowed into that guy. Nice.
Let's do it.
And we should be able to shoot from the car here. Nice. And as we drive over them, they drop guns and ammo too, so they shouldn't have messed with us. So now we got even more free guns.
Operator.
Alright, so let's make our strike team. I think this will be at Squad 1. Now we can rename these squads too, and this team, I'm going to call them the strike team because they're going to be the heavily armed ones that deal with, well, they're going to be an armed response to any sort of large horde or whatever. So that's going to be a cool asset at our disposal.
Receiving.
Now let's make sure we give everybody else I want to put the heavy guns in there for now and at least give our squads basic handguns.
We're on the move.
And we'll assign everybody to vehicles. So I think our heavily armed squads, we want these guys to have
We're on the move.
the transportation too. So the strike team will probably be operating far away, so they'll probably get the sedan.
Operator, roger.
So this squad here, we're going to give the assault rifles to.
We're on the move.
Okay, so the strike team now is fully armed with better weapons. 3 assault rifles and a shotgun.
Let's do it.
Let's have them exit that vehicle
We're on
and
the
get in
move.
the sedan. Perfect. Alright, so the strike team is going to start operating a little further away. So we'll have them go get the food since we're going to desperately need that until we've got our farming up. Let's have the strike team come here and start
Let's do it.
loading up on food. First, if we don't eat, can't do anything, so.
Reporting.
And then our second armed team is this one
On my
here.
way. Waiting orders.
And everyone else has some basic handguns, so that's just fine. What do we got for supply now? Yep, so it looks like we're short on wood and brick and also metal, so it's going to be important now to get people off the build team and back onto scavenging. So that's what we're going to do for a while now. So they could definitely build these farm fields, but we'll need more wood. So we're going to have them demolish this building and cut down a ton of trees. So that's what we need to focus on for the rest of our time, is more material gathering.
Ready for action.
Okay,
We're on
this
the
group
move.
has their vehicle,
Building clear.
and I think we'll start nearby
Building clear.
the bottom of the castle.
Reporting. Search done.
And did they find anything? Building next door.
On my way. Waiting orders. We're on the move. Let's do it.
So it looks like for the most part we've got all the supplies
Receiving. Waiting orders.
in the castle.
Building clear. There's nothing left.
Okay, another thing I'd like to see too is instead of having to hover over construction, I'd like to see the like a pinned or some sort of a custom resource thing that we can pin to the top of the screen. So if we wanted to see, you know, for food, how much food do we have without having to hover over it. But it is nice to do this at a glance. I think they've done a good job with that. Very, very good job. This castle looks incredible. I can't wait to go to other locations too, you know, especially around just more mountainous areas of Europe that are just, even without a castle, are still defensive because of how they're, you know, laid out. Like there's clearly plenty of beautiful little visitor centers and landmarks that are at the top of a mountain that might have, you know, even if you go to Switzerland, for example, and go to a little ski lodge, that's going to be a very good area to go to. You know, you're going to have all that elevation that'll provide some sort of defense, and then you have all those trees, and then of course plenty of land to build food once you cut down those trees too.
Let's do
So
it.
farming will be a much more plausible
Receiving. Going there.
thing in the mountains. Imagine playing this game before we go to Switzerland and everything's just completely flat,
On my way.
or the Himalayas or whatever. And I'm also interested to see like prisons too. Like Alcatraz, for example, is about this size in the game, but it's just not even worth playing because if you're out on a small island in this game, the infected can swim, but you really can't. So you're constantly under attack and eventually will run out of supply. It's also the same if you do Area 51. And we've done plenty of other locations, so if you watched this far in the video, first of all, who's this guy who just jumped to the middle of this video right here? Who jumped around in the video? You didn't watch the whole video, pal? You go right back to the beginning. You watch that whole video. You're missing out on all the good stuff. You go right back to the beginning. How did I know? Because I know you, pal. But second of all, if you've watched this far, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button too. And glory to Raptoria down below in the comments section. And also, I want to know from you where we should go next. Now that we have elevation here, what are some of the more interesting locations to go to? Off the top of your mind, what do you think would be the best city or location or landmark to go to that would be awesome to fortify? Where would be like a good location to go to? And also we ask this question too from time to time. Zombie outbreak happens, it's day one. Where do you go for weapons? What's your go-to? A crowbar? Do you go to the museum and get a bunch of swords? What's your go-to, like, especially like melee weapons? Because those are going to be reliable, even long-term.
Operator, the moods in our zone are terrible.
Uh-oh.
People are on the edge, and if we don't do anything, they will start leaving soon.
All right, we'll do what we can.
We'll do whatever it takes to keep people here.
Well, we did finish our extra warehouse. That was a good idea. Our main building also has 1,600 supply.
There's nothing left.
We didn't have to build that warehouse, but honestly, at a certain point, especially if we find multiple prepper things, this is going to fill up quick. Especially with all the wheat and wood and construction materials too, if we're going to build like a wall. But we've already got a wall here at the castle, so at least that's one less thing we have to worry about, other than maybe building guard towers along that wall. So that's going to clearly take a lot of wood to do. Nice thing is too, we can build just wood watchtowers, and that'll be sufficient because we have a big old brick wall in front of us, right? A big old stone wall. Are those guys going to be hostile? Roaming around at nighttime like that?
Ready for action.
They better not mess with us.
Clear. Let's do it.
That wasn't enough. They seem odd and aggressive.
Badly wounded, odd, and aggressive. No thank you.
Send them away.
We're on the move.
We do need more workers. So at least this is a really good way to get a lot of workers at the start now. Our population up, well, yeah, 74 now from 50, so that's cool, or 56 I think we were at. All right, and of course the first goal now is to build that antenna, which we have to research. So where's that under? Here, antenna. So we'll have to get our research center up. That'll just take metal and wood. We'll have to build our barracks there, or our shelter, which will give everybody homes. They'll be a little less crabby. But then we need to get this done too. And actually we can assign more people to this particularly. So we've got 6 people working there. We should probably assign way more people to scavenge and work on that building. But yeah, that's the micro of the game, and that's the overall gist. But that is a damn cool castle, man. And I can't wait to go to other locations. Again, name your favorite castles down below. And I'm going to ask again, because I want to see more locations that you guys would recommend. Because I only know so many, and I want to know from you.
We're on the move.
Well, that is all the time we have today for the biggest zombie game out there. Of course, you can go anywhere in the world, fortify, scavenge, defend, and build. It's a lot of fun, man. Infection-free zone, a game we've been covering for a long time, and I will keep doing so as they keep making big deliveries on this massive roadmap. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. If you're a City Builder fan, an RTS fan, or if you just love zombie games, this is a must-have. Thank you very much, everybody, for commenting down below on some of the suggestions you'd have and places that we'll defend in the future. And glory to Raptoria. I will see you all very soon for yet another video on the channel. So thanks for subbing, thanks for liking, thanks for watching, and you all take care. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.